10 ways I'm prepping my daughter for her baby sister. Hey guys, it's Marley from Kale and Crunches and welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing the different ways I am prepping my toddler for us bringing home her baby sister in a few weeks. So if you're new to my channel, I am, by the time this video airs, probably like 38 weeks pregnant. Hopefully maybe not even pregnant anymore, maybe the baby's here. But I also have a 21-month-old daughter named Lily, and she is about to be a big sister. She doesn't really get what's coming, but she's definitely going to be in for a big change and a big shock. So I wanted to share some tips on how I am trying to prep her as best as possible. If videos on things like pregnancy and motherhood are things that you like to watch, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you're following me over on Instagram because I share a ton of real and raw daily stories about my life as a mom, and I upload videos every Monday. So let's get into it. 10 ways I am prepping my toddler for bringing home her baby sister. Number 1, we switched her from a bottle to a sippy cup. So this is something that we actually did a few months ago for a couple of reasons. Our pediatrician told us that by 2 years old, our baby should not be using a bottle anymore. But she's actually going to be turning 2 a couple months after we bring home the baby. So I didn't want to have to make that transition while we had a new baby in the house. I thought that she would be jealous if she saw the baby using bottles. Maybe she would just have a harder time with the transition in general. So what I thought I would do a few months ago was just switch her over to a sippy cup, still giving her the same amount of milk, which is 8 ounces of whole milk, but just putting it in a sippy cup and letting her go through that transition earlier so that by the time the baby is home and here and she sees the baby using bottles, they are like a past thought. You know, she doesn't even remember using them herself. Number 2, we set up the nursery a little bit earlier than last time. So I am coming at you from our new nursery. I cannot wait to give you a tour. I'm so happy with how it turned out, but you have to stay tuned for that video. Last time, I feel like our nursery really wasn't such a concern in terms of setting it up. And truthfully, you don't really need your nursery right away if you are having the baby sleep in your room. For the first 2 to 3 months, we will have a bassinet in our room and the baby will be in our room. So it's really not the biggest deal whether it's done perfectly or not. But we did want to have some things like the glider and the crib and the other change table in the new room, in the new nursery, all set up and ready to go, so Lily was used to it. The last thing we wanted to do was just create bigger changes, like having a baby come home and then having this brand new room for her to look at and see. The first time she saw the crib, she was saying Lily's crib, Lily sleep. So, you know, she's getting used to the idea that this isn't her room, it's her sister's room, and she's just now used to having this furniture here. Number 3, we're having some items that we're going to be using for the newborn phase just out and about around the house. For example, our Snuggle Me Organic, which is like a little, you know, sleeping cot or sleeping pillow for a baby. I'm not really sure how to describe it. This is something that we will probably put the baby in often. And now we just take it out. We let Lily play with it. We let her dolls go inside of it. We just let her get used to the idea that something like this is going to be around the house. We'll probably do the same with the Fisher-Price swing that we used with Lily, which she loved. We'll probably set that up really soon. Just have it hanging out in the living room so that she's used to it, so that maybe when she tries to go in it, she'll see that she doesn't fit and she's too big for it. She won't try and go in it once the baby's in it. Just get her used to seeing these different things that are not normally in the house. Have her get used to seeing them now so that they're not novelty anymore by the time the baby's here. So maybe she won't really care to use it as much when the baby's using them. Number 4, we are reading books about bringing home a baby. We like this book called My New Baby. My sister-in-law actually gave me this idea for this book because it actually shows the mom nursing in the book, which a lot of books don't necessarily do. So I love that this book shows how the baby's eating, and I often try and say to Lily, you know, Lily's eating her sandwich and baby will eat here, and I'm trying to just get her used to the idea that I'm going to be breastfeeding so she doesn't get jealous. You know, she obviously will, but not too much, hopefully, and hopefully she just kind of remembers that she saw this in the book and it's normal for, you know, baby sister to be eating on mummy versus the way Lily eats at the table. Number 5, we had the baby's car seat installed. So similarly to how we had set up the nursery, we started taking out baby gear so Lily's used to it. We switched the side that Lily's car seat is on. So it used to be behind the passenger seat so that the driver could use the mirror and see the baby better. But now that we have a newborn coming, we're putting the newborn behind the passenger seat. So what we did is we installed the bucket and we switched Lily's car seat over. We went for a drive the other day. She cried the whole time to go into the bucket. It was really sad. I felt really bad for her. But now that she's been in the car a few times, she's used to it. So the last thing we wanted to do was, switch up the car seat only when the baby got here, put Lily in the car with the baby for the first time, and then have the, like 2 crying kids in the car. So we actually put one of her dolls in the car seat, and she kept saying, other one Lily, as in she wanted to go in the other car seat. I definitely felt bad, but I also knew that we were doing the right thing by having her get used to it now. Number 6, I am trying to let DC do some more bedtime and more routine things on his own. We always ask each other every single night, like, what's gonna be happening when the baby's here? Like, am I doing bath time? Are you nursing? Blah, blah, blah. We don't really know. If I remember anything, I do remember that like between 5 to 7 was like a big cluster feeding time for the baby. And it's normally like a witching hour for them. They cry a lot, and that's during Lily's bedtime routine. We have such a solid, amazing bedtime routine with Lily. She sleeps like an angel. So, we really want to keep things as consistent as possible. So what I don't want to do is have this baby come home and then me do every single bedtime, every single routine with Lily up until the second the baby's here, and then just like disappear. I don't want Lily to think she's losing me. I don't want her to think that I'm not available to her anymore. So if she gets used to DC doing a lot of this stuff by himself now, then I think she'll be less resentful about the baby and more used to saying, oh, well, daddy just does bedtime. Daddy does bath time. So we are trying to figure out what makes the most sense right now. And for now, we're just trying having DC do bath time alone. And then I'll come in for like, good night story, good night kiss and things like that. Number 7, we are not rushing Lily into transitions, even if we feel like she could be ready for them. So the sippy cup is something that we decided to do. We knew she'd be fine with it and it wasn't a big deal, but things like potty training or maybe moving her to like a big girl bed or changing up her room, we really didn't want to do. I actually do think she's ready for potty training. She often tells us when she's peeing or pooing. She hates having her diaper changed. I think if we wanted to potty train her, we totally could do it successfully, but I'm not going to do it. I don't want to put her through that, put us through that, and then all of a sudden, we bring home a baby sister. Developmental regressions are bound to happen with a huge environmental change like that for a baby. So, she could start having accidents again. She could want a diaper because her baby sister is using a diaper. So it just, we don't feel like any need to rush things like potty training, moving her into a big girl bed or anything like that. We just want to keep things as much the same as possible in terms of her routine and her comfort level and things like that. So the transition is hopefully as smooth as possible. Number 8, I am so excited for this one. We are finally going to be seeing in person DC's parents again. So we're in Toronto, we're in lockdown still. We have been bubbled in our own house with myself, DC, who's my husband, our nanny, and Lily. That's it. We have not gone into anyone else's houses. We have not had any in-person inside play dates. We've only been seeing people outside at the park when it's not too cold out. It's March in Toronto. It has been really cold. So we are finally getting the help of his parents. I am so excited. We haven't been seeing them, to protect ourselves, to protect them. Things in COVID are crazy. But finally they're going to be doing a quarantine and then joining our bubble. So this is all to say that Lily is going to start having sleepovers at her grandparents' house again. We're so excited for that. Big reason for this is we just feel like we need the extra help when the baby comes, and also when we go to the hospital, we want to be able to send Lily for a sleepover to DC's parents' house. She loves it there, she's comfortable there, and we just will feel so much better mentally knowing that she's somewhere that she's happy if we have to be in the hospital for a couple days. This is all to say that we are going to be doing these sleepovers sooner rather than later, provided that the baby doesn't like randomly come today or tomorrow. We are going to, in like 10 days from now, once their quarantine is done, send send Lily for a sleepover there. So she's used to sleeping out. It's been a really long time. We're hoping that she still absolutely loves sleeping there because we just have such peace of mind knowing how happy she is when she's sleeping there, and that will just make things in the hospital a lot easier mentally for me for sure. Number 9 and 10 kind of go hand in hand, but number 9, we are not putting pressure on Lily to act a certain way or to deal with this transition in a certain way at all. We're setting the bar low for her because her title might change as big sister, but she's still the same Lily she was 5 minutes before the baby was born. She doesn't know any different. She really doesn't understand what's about to happen, and it's unfair for us to expect her to all of a sudden be a big sister, because why should she be? So we are setting low expectations and know that things like sleep regressions and behavioral changes are about to happen, and just try and take them all as they come, because this is just all part of life and the messiness and fun that goes with it. And then number 10, similarly to number 9, is we are setting low expectations for ourselves as well. You know, we've never been parents to 2 babies before. They say 1 is 1 and 2 is a million. So we know that this is going to be a hard transition. We are prepared for that. We are giving ourselves just grace. We're gonna try and be there for each other as much as possible and just set low expectations for ourselves as well. Same way Lily's never been big sister. We've never been parents of 2 people. We have no idea what to expect. And if motherhood and postpartum and pregnancy and all that has taught me anything, it's that you really should have no expectations of anything. So same goes for bringing home a baby to a toddler. So I hope that these tips were helpful for you if you are about to go through the same transition. If you have any other tips that you think are helpful, please share them in the comments for myself and the community. We would absolutely love that. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.